for episode 6. It's Bree.
It's Lonnie.
It's Nelly.
And we are back in full effect. First episode of 2022. Happy New Year, because you know, we love to say Happy New Year until February. The year is still new. And of course, with our Dear Friends series, we're going to start off with our letters to our friends. So, who want to go first?
I'll go first. Dear friends, if you are going through something, please do not feel like you have to go through it alone.
A word.
Dear friends, I know sometimes we can be difficult with each other, but you know, just have a little bit of patience, especially with this new year and this pandemic. Patience and grace.
You kind of just stole mine a little bit. Dear friends, I am personally asking for grace this year. I feel like this year I'm really tuned into the year of me, and so don't be surprised if I'm saying no more. It's really not personal. I really just have to recenter and realign with myself and, you know, the energies around me. So yeah, I am asking for grace.
That's good.
So today we are talking about friends turn family. Like, we know all the sayings, like blood is thicker than water, you know, friends, blood, whatever, you know, all the sayings. Anywho, yeah, so like, how do y'all feel about that? Is there validity in blood over water, or are you like, I don't agree?
I like to look at it from a perspective of bond. Because not all of your blood family, you're not going to have a bond with all of your blood family. You're not going to like all of your blood family. So just because you're family through blood doesn't, honestly, to me, it doesn't mean anything. So I just like to look at family like pertaining to bond. Like, if I have a bond with you, you're my family. And that's that.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. I don't know. It's kind of murky waters. Like, it's a lot of friends that I would put over family, but then again, I'm always, I don't know how to make it make sense, but I'm always put my family first at the same time. So, yeah. I don't know. But then I have a lot of friends that I don't even consider friends. Like, they aren't family. So, yeah. Then it gets to be like family over family. And like, what?
I don't know.
No, I see what you're saying with that, but I also think it depends on who the family member is. Like, okay, if we're talking like your immediate family, like mom, dad, siblings, like that's a different story than your second cousin on your mama's side, or like your aunt. Like, I think there's levels to family, just like there's levels to friendship. But for me, if you're not in that immediate circle of family, like, there's definitely a lot of my friends that would come before you. And that's only just because like, it's family members that I haven't spoken to in years. So it's like, if you think you could just come around and like think you take priority over stuff that I have got going on, like, I'm gonna look at you like you crazy. Like, I just feel like family is really just an excuse for a forced relationship. And I know, like, a lot of, like, I might get dragged for that, but, like, that's how I genuinely feel. And for me, personally, I feel like it's because when I was younger, like, everything was so, like, oh, that's family. Like, you know, you were forced to be around your family. But, like, now that I'm grown and I have, like, choices and options of who I give my time, I just feel so much better. Like, and I feel like those relationships are so much more genuine when you have a say-so in them.
Yeah, and I think, like, especially with black families, too, I think a lot of the times, like, you know, you'll hear your mom say or your aunt say, oh, that's your uncle, go talk to them. Go give them a hug. That's your cousin. That's your second cousin. You ain't never met them before. Go meet them. And I'm just like, sometimes, you know, that may be that uncle that be talking out the side of his neck and be saying wild stuff, be doing wild stuff, and that cousin, you don't really identify with them because, you know, they got a different life going on and you just don't align with their values and morals and stuff. So it's definitely a murky water, but I mean, I still stand bond over blood. Like, yeah.
But so as I've gotten older, something that I have realized in my immediate household, me, my mom, my dad, my two brothers, is that I am the only one who is like, no, we need to get together as a family. You need to reach out to so-and-so. You need to, you know, go visit them, call them, and all that. And I don't know if it's because I realized that I don't have as many family members as I should on like my dad's side, or I don't know, like something just kind of sparked in me as I got older that was like, no, y'all need to start reconnecting with these families. And I think one thing I do think played a factor is that we used to do family reunions all the time on my mom's side when I was younger. And so I miss those. Like, I feel like a lot of us are not as close as we used to be. I mean, of course, the pandemic had to play in it over the last 2 years, but I don't know. I just feel like everybody kind of started growing apart. And while we do still go visit, it's not the same. Like, nobody's trying to organize a family reunion at this point. So, I don't know. Do y'all feel like as y'all have gotten older, y'all want to try to rekindle some of the family relationships, or is it just kind of like I'm moving on with my life?
I think I'm moving on. And I say that because it just seems like I don't want it to feel forced. And then also, like, it's hard as an adult making friends. Like, we've discussed that. So it's like you really are making friends with your family at this point. Like, I think that family reunions are very awkward, and I'll go, you know, of course, like, you have that mindset, like, it's still family, but I feel like family reunions are really awkward. Like, these are people that you haven't seen in a lot of times 5 to 10 years, and you're just kind of expected to just snap back and just, like, be an open book and share your life, and it really just becomes a battle of everyone sharing all the great things that they're doing. Like, I don't know, it's not genuine. It's just like we're doing it because we have to, and it's not like a close-knit situation.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of like in the middle because I think I don't have that experience of falling out with any of my family members. So it's not necessarily a rekindling situation for me. It's more so of just like being around more of my family. And also my family on my mom's side, like they're much older. So I know that, like, me personally, like, I was kind of like the middle person. So like there were people a lot older than me and then people a lot younger than me. So I didn't really have those people like around my age that I could really like create a bond with or like be around with all the time. It was mainly like my grandmas and like my great aunts and my great uncles and like my second cousin who was like 10 years older than me. So it's not necessarily like a rekindling situation for me. It's just I'm just not around my family like that. So I wouldn't say I don't really care to have a relationship with them, but if it doesn't happen, I still love them to death, like they're my family, but it's just not like top of mind for me.
Yeah, it's just me then, because I love going down south and going to that uncle who I ain't talked to in years to just sit at their house talking.
I mean, I think it's different. Like, I do see the value of that. Like, you know, you get a lot of rich history on, like, your family. And, like, I always feel like talking to the older generations is, like, very interesting. But it's just, like, if it doesn't happen, like, I'm not losing any sleep over it.
I'm the same way. Yeah, because a lot of my uncles and aunts, like, I would be around them when I was younger, but like now that I'm older, it's like, you know, a lot of people in my family have passed away, and like those people who have like kept the family together passed away, so everybody's kind of like moving in a different direction. Then you got family members who don't talk to other family members.
That's the whole,
and that's just a whole messy situation, because like you may be cool with that family member and the other one, and then they don't talk, and then you see, it's just it's just murky water there. So I don't know, I'm kind of like in the middle.
No, I definitely feel like that's a topic that needs to be discussed. Like, and I don't know that it's only in the Black community, but like, you know, when you lose that family leader, what that does to the family and like how you gather after that. But you know, that's not what we talking about. But anywho, so going back to like the friends who are like family, what point do you all get to where you're like, that's family? Like, what's that separation, or is there a moment or a situation that happens when someone transitions from being your friend to your family?
I feel like it's just the contents of our relationship. Like, what we've gone through, what we talk about, how much time we spend together. I don't think it's like a specific moment. I know a lot of mine is like linked with time. Like, I've had friends for so long that it's just like, if you always around, of course you're going to be considered family. But there, of course, are other friends who come over my house more often than some. So it's like, those are the friends that become like close with my parents, my siblings, my extended family. So, you know, the ones that come to Christmas and Thanksgiving dinners, like they know my entire family. So then you are considered family. Like my people are going to be bringing you gifts. Like it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I think it's just like the amount of time spent with me in all parts of my life and not just one part.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. And I will say, so I have like friends who have turned family, and then I have like family who have turned friends kind of situation, but not really like family. So backstory, my best friend and her wife, when they got married, I was inducted as an honorary cousin on Bria's side. So like we're a part of like cousins group chats, and we on like family trips, and like I met their like moms, and like I've hung out with them. So that's kind of like my situation as far as like friends turn family. They weren't my friends before, but I just became family. Like and they became family to me. So it's kind of like family first, friends second. But yeah, I do have a lot of friends who have turned family, and it's just the dynamic of our relationship and our friendship. Like, you know, we go through a lot of life-changing things together. My friends know my parents. They know my sisters. They kind of know the ins and outs of like my family dynamic too. So I don't think it's necessarily like a situation that I can pinpoint.
Yeah, I definitely feel like it's the experience that that my whole family has with you. When I say my family, it's really like, for me, my staple people are like my mom, my dad, my sister. I mean, my younger siblings are just too young to like, you know, kind of have a say so. But for me, like, if you haven't met my parents, and like my parents, for those of you who don't know, like, I go out with my parents. Like, I can go to Miami with my mom or my dad and turn up. Like, so if you haven't kind of been around my family in that capacity, like, yeah, I don't feel like you could consider yourself family. I don't want to come off rude, but like, it is real. But I feel like length of time definitely plays a part, but also I think that it's just like who you are as a person. Like going back to like what Nelly is saying, like what is my experience with you? And I honestly feel like Nelly is a really good example of someone like my best friend. Walia, we've been friends since kindergarten, so she'll like always be part of our family. Like everyone's always going to ask about her. Oh, how is she? You know, what's going on with her? But then you have someone like Nelly who has been 5 years, which is crazy. That's so crazy. But like my dad's like, is Nelly coming to the wedding? Like, you know, they're still like, so it's just like their experience with her, and like also your immediate circle family also sees who's there for you. So it's like they see who's showing up, and like they accept them as their own. Like, they not coming to this? What you mean they not coming? Or like what, like when you start getting asked about by like other people, then to me it's like, okay, like your family, like it's not just me worried about you, it's the whole nine.
Everybody else, I agree with that.
So, do y'all feel like... I forgot what I was about to ask. I just blanked.
So you know, within Black families, everyone kind of has like, you know, that's family, you forgive them, you know, you got to move on, blah, blah, blah. How do you deal with that within your friendships? Because I know, like, will the friends turn family? Because you can't argue with your friend or, like, have disagreements or kind of just falling out. So how do y'all navigate problem solving within those type of relationships? Or is it just, like, you kind of act like nothing happened? Like, a lot of...
I think I like to approach it like as I would with any of my other friends, but more so like on a conversation level. Like if I feel like you hurt my feelings, or if I feel like we're getting into it, or you know you're doing something that I don't like, I'm gonna address it. Like I feel like because you're my family, I should be able to address it with you, and we should be able to have a conversation and work it out and move past it, instead of just letting it sweep under the rug, and then the issue may come up later down the line, and then it may turn into a bigger issue. Especially, we're family, like, we're going to be around each other all the time. You're going to be around my family, I'm going to be around yours, like, holidays, birthdays, like, just through, like, life-changing moments, too. So, I don't never want an issue or, like, a disagreement to hinder, like, the overall dynamic of our relationship. Have a conversation, nip it in the bud, move on from it.
I definitely agree with that, because I now, once you said it, I was like, dang, people who I really just consider friends or associates, I'm fine with it just like being, like, I'm fine with not talking about it, but like when it's the people who I'm like, that's family, I'm like, so you know you was dead wrong.
Exactly.
Like you can have like
you can have that genuine conversation with them.
So I feel like that's a good indicator of separation too. Like, if I don't care enough to like address you on your wrongs and like, you know, I'm just kind of like taking note.
Yeah. One thing I feel like, specifically with like friends turned family, I feel like I'm more keen to be like, oh, I know their personality, so let me tiptoe around it sometimes. Like, I'm a very like blatant person. Like, I don't really tiptoe much, but I feel like with my friends who are considered family, I don't know, I just feel like I'm like, this is really how they are. We not like they family, so we not ever gonna be, you know, separated or like on bad terms. They be alright, we'll get past this eventually. Like, it's not, I don't know, I feel like things aren't as big of a deal with my family friends than with other friends who I'm like, you can get cut off, so it's like
So wait, are you saying that you're addressing it if they're just friends? You're more so to address it if you're just friends? Because it's like the opposite of me and Lonnie.
Yeah, because with just friends, like, I feel like there's more tension held or something.
I get what you're saying.
Time and
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, and we're not speaking as much or like something. But with family, like, we together all the time, like siblings fight, we gonna get over it. We might not address it, but we gonna get over it. We'll move past it. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's more like I don't think that I've had like serious like sit down talks, but it's more so like I can joke about it. Like, it's in a very joking way where you can communicate how, like, I can communicate how I feel. Like, you know, like I said, you was dead wrong for saying that in front of her. And I think that within family, like, so that's enough. Like, you don't necessarily have to be, you know, have this big old therapy session, and like you can just address it and move on from it. Like, for me though, for people who are just like associates or friends, it's just like, I don't want to say I don't care enough, but it kind of like I don't care enough. Like, do I want to, and that just goes back to like, where do you want to put your energy? Like, is this relationship worth me putting that energy into?
Yeah, and I think for friends turn family too, you would have to really do something like
crazy,
really crazy, ridiculous, messed up for me to be like, I don't want to really deal with you anymore, or for me to even say like, I'm gonna just back off and just let you breathe, let myself breathe. I'm not gonna put no energy into it. But yeah, I feel like I still would have to address it regardless, like, because I know for me, for my conscience, it will bother me. Like, even if it's something small, minor, that hurt my feelings or I didn't like, it will still bother me. So I would at least have to address it, whether it's jokingly or just like, you know, a phone conversation or like a text and say, hey, I didn't like what you did the other day. Like, we don't need to be doing that again. And that's it. Like, so.
So have y'all ever had a moment where you have a friend who turned family, but you feel like there should still be some boundaries? So like, you realize it done gone a little far, like they done met up with your dad and you ain't know about, or like something happened and you didn't know about it, and you like, whoa, we that close? Like, has there ever been that kind of moment?
Like an unintentional friend turn family?
Yeah.
No.
Or just like they take it too far?
Yeah, like, or
they getting too comfortable.
Or like, so it's a friend turned family and you and your parents are having a conversation in the kitchen about something personal, like really for family only, and your friend come in and join the conversation. How you feeling?
I personally have not had that experience, which I'm glad. Like, I feel like it's all about the people you surround yourself with, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job of like setting those boundaries. Like, just me as a person, like, I'm not generally like just an open book who's just like, I pick and choose what I want to share. So like, I'm you know, it would be weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be like, girl, what? What are you doing? I haven't had that experience.
Yeah, I haven't either, but I also think it depends on what friend we're talking about that turn family. Like, I feel like if it was, say if I was having a conversation with my mom in the kitchen and I'm like, yeah, so we're talking about something personal, and like Pep comes in and she busts in the conversation, I wouldn't think that that's weird because I talked to her about everything. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I would value her opinion and what she has to say in the conversation. But you know how like you have those friends who like meet your parents, but they're not really like family yet. They're just like, oh, that's family. Like, oh, I met them before. I met them a couple times. They come over the house a couple times. If it was like one of those friends, then I'd be looking like, okay, what you like? What you doing? Like, I don't really want to hear from you right now. I'm having a conversation with my mom.
Meeting my parents is not really a reward at this point for friendship.
That's
like
kind of how I feel too. Like, I mean, not everybody, but pretty much all of my friends know my parents, and my parents know my friends. So it's
just because like I actually hang with my parents, so it's just like if we're out and like, or it's my birthday and my parents are going to the club with us, which is not unusual. Like. Then you meeting my parents is not like, oh my gosh, like, you don't get a trophy for that. Now, if they remember who you are and they're asking about you, then that's different.
Yeah, I think it depends on, like, how often that friend comes around, like, after meeting your parents. If it was just, like you said, y'all go out to the club, like, your friend is there, and it's like, oh, hey, this is such and such, and then they just don't come around anymore, that's different.
Yeah, or, like, where you meet them, like, are you meeting them at one of my family funerals? Like, you know, that's of course, a different level than, you know, we were out to dinner and you walked past our table and I introduced them. Like, so
I take that back. Meeting my mom is not an accomplishment. If you know my dad, we're pretty close. Because honestly, he don't be around for like the social stuff. So that means you've been in my house or like you've been to an intimate event. Yeah, like me knowing my, and if my dad knows you, then it's an accomplishment because he's terrible at remembering folks. So
my dad's the same way.
No, it'd be the asking about. Like, it'll be sometimes like, I was thinking about so and so. How they doing? Like,
my mom will call my friends for help. Like, she's that type of person. So yeah, if you on that level,
yeah, pretty important.
So like, what are situations that are just going extending off your question, Ellie? What are situations that are just too far? Like, what is something that you would just be like, nah, that's weird. Like, that you're crossing the line between, like, y'all see all them, like, creepy roommate movies or, like, best friend trying to steal your life situations. Like, what would be a situation where you're like, no. You gotta go.
Like, as far as interactions with my family or just in general?
With you, like, what's something that a friend turn family could do that's like, that's giving me weird vibes, like that's a little much for me. Like, I don't know why this is the first thing that comes to mind for me, but like for me it's like you asking my dad to walk you down the aisle at your wedding or something. Whoa. Yeah, like that's like too far. No, like that's especially before I get married. Like that to me is something that I would be like, okay, girl, you tried it. Like,
but people do that?
I don't know.
That's crazy.
I mean, I've seen like people stand in for situations, but like some people really wouldn't feel like nothing's wrong with that.
That's crazy.
But like for me, that would be a hard no. Like I would be like,
what?
That's weird.
You don't try to write yourself before you ask my dad.
Listen, ask somebody. It's a male in your life, but that for me, and I really don't know why that's the first thing I thought about, but that for me would be like a big red flag. Like, girl, you lost your mind.
I feel like so. I'm gonna try to be transparent as possible. I don't want to name drop and like throw the situation out there. But there was a situation where this girl had become like family, and like everybody thought everything was cool. Like years she had been around, and then she started to like befriend one of like the other person's all her friends like at the school. Like she was on band, what's it called? Not pom-poms, but band dance. She was on band dance and like the girl would like go to her practices and like would be friends with all of the team members, and it was just very strange. And it was like, You spend a little too much time.
Like, almost like she wanted their friends.
Yeah, it was just like she was like taking on the identity of.
Yeah, no, I've had that experience with a family member before, and like now,
and I'm like, that's too far.
Yeah, me and that family member who I had that situation with, like, have no relation, like, not a non-existent relationship, like.
Yeah, that's creepy.
That's too much.
That's creepy.
Like, find your friends, boo.
Yeah, like, why are you inviting them to your birthday? You don't even know them. You met them once.
Once? Like, calm down. Okay.
And just like, even like, they'd be like following all your friends on Instagram. Like, even that, I will say, like, full transparent moment, like, it took me a while for me to like follow Danny and Jen on like Instagram, because I'm like, you know what, I don't want to, you don't want to overstep.
It feels weird.
No, you don't want to overstep, but then you also like, I don't want her to feel like I'm being weird, like, why, you know, but after being around them, like, I would not have followed them like after the first birthday, but like now we've been around each other for years, and it's like, even though like we know that those relationships are solid, but even that I have reservations with that, so it's just like
it's very strange sometimes. That's where mixing fingers can get a little murky.
Yeah. I haven't really been in a situation in particular, but I feel like this is so cliche too, but like, if that friend turned family started like messing with people like that I used to talk to or like date, and then it's like, girl, like, you family, like, you know that I used to mess with this person, you know I used to mess with that person, and like you having conversations with them and like being nah.
So is girl code more I guess, are you held to a higher standard of girl code once you cross that line? And let me give you, I agree with y'all. So let me give you a situation. This is not my situation, so I'm just putting that out there. So you used to talk to someone years ago, like we're in our 20s, so let's say 17, 18. So like at this point, you know, it's a couple years ago, and we just talked to them, you know, maybe did a little diddly-daddly, you know. And now one of your friends like wants to start texting them, like, you know, just like the guy slid in your friend's DMs and it's like, what's up with you, blah blah blah. Is you didn't have a real relationship with them, and your friend asks you, like, you know, is it okay if I have, you know, if I text him, like, you know, we just out here having fun, YOLO, living life.
I feel like I'm like an anomaly in this situation because I am one of those people, if I'm done and moved on, you never know who is meant for who. So like,
yeah, I mean, no,
that's how I think about it. Like, you just never know who is, you know, the one for that person. So as long as you came to me and was like, hey, this is what's going on, how do you feel about it, is it okay, then we're good. Like, as long as we have the communication about it, that's fine. Now, if it's somebody I was like in love with, or like, you know, maybe I would have to sit with it a little longer.
No, if I was in love with it, you shouldn't even have the guts to ask that. Like, that's like for me, if my current relationship, God forbid, ended, and anybody was ever like, would you mind? What?
No, that's kind of good.
that would be a red flag. So once someone becomes friends, family, like once they are promoted to friend turn family, can you get demoted? Or is that like, you know, maybe we don't have that same friendship, but at the end of the day you're still family? What does that look like for y'all?
I don't feel like you can get demoted, only because like you just said, I have friends who I may not be as close with, but my family still talks about, or like, you know, still wants me to like keep in touch, or like that kind of thing. So I feel like, you know, once my family knows you, whether we are close anymore. They not about to go reach out or nothing, but, you know, they know that if I ever, you know, needed something or was in an emergency or they couldn't find me or something, like, they would still reach out to that person. So, for example, Tori, I don't know if she listens, but hey girl, we're not as close anymore, but my family still talks about her. Like, I could still reach out to her for random stuff. People still ask about her, so I don't think she'll ever get, like, she'll always be family.
Yeah, I agree. I also think that, like I said before, you would have to really do some messed up things in order for you to really be like demoted. And when I say demoted, that means like you don't come around my family anymore, like you're not around me anymore. Like my family may like still like have you in their head, like they may still like mention you and say, hey, oh well, what happened to such and such, or have you talked to her, have you seen her on Instagram? My mother loved to say, have you followed them on IG, you followed them on Facebook. So it would have to be like one of those situations where you would have to really do something messed up to me and or my family.
Yeah, I feel like you can get demoted, but that's also because I feel like family, like blood family, can get demoted.
I'm about to say that's why I said no, because family can actually get like
I say you can get demoted because I personally am a very strong believer in like bond, like going back to what you were saying, Lonnie. Like I just feel like sometimes may not be no love lost, but I wouldn't consider you family anymore. Like I just feel like, you kind of just always there, and I do have those friends where like I know that we might not talk on a regular basis, but if I really did need something, they would come through for me. But I don't know, I just don't feel like I would consider them family. And like at our age now, the way I look at it is like, do they get invited to the wedding? And for me, that's a telltale for me, because I'm not gonna be one of those people who just invite everybody and their mama. So like that to me is kind of like a gauge. And also, this is so random, but have y'all watched Judge Steve Harvey? It's actually really good. No, it's actually really good. But one of the situations on there was pretty much a lady was suing her boyfriend because he wouldn't marry her. Y'all, the show is a joke. Okay, the show is like not really, he's not a real judge. Right. So like the situations are crazy. But anyway, one of the things that she had was every year she would write a list of her bridesmaids, who her bridesmaids would be in the case that he proposed and they actually got married. And on that list, and even Steve Harvey pointed it out, and he was like, only like one person was there on every single list over the years. And like I was like, that is very true. Like who sticks around and like who is on that wedding list or that bridesmaids list, that is really a telltale of who is really like family and who's really down. And you're real close, you're real friends turn family.
Yeah.
For women anyway.
Yeah,
for women.
God bless you. There's the whole men and their groomsmen is just
we learned that with Bernard.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't think he'd be able to write that list like how we think about it.
Yeah, I definitely have an idea of who would be on my list.
Yeah, I have an idea, but not like a solid idea.
I mean, we can't have solid until we know how many bridesmaids we actually want to have.
Until the day.
We got a maximum number, so.
Yeah, no, you do. That also does play a factor, but you have your list, like, you still are ranked accordingly. If I gotta get 3,
I have my, like,
I'm cutting the last 3.
Bachelorette party. Like,
okay.
I call it I'm gonna call it my village when I get married. It won't be my bridal party.
Okay. Alright. But a lot of people have been doing like the honorary thing where it's like you're not in the wedding, but you're still gonna wear a certain color dress. So you still have a certain seat.
The family gets a color code.
Yeah, you still getting seated. But I have one more question. Not one more question, but a little like scenario. Because I saw this post on Instagram and it was like your cousins are either gang or a bunch of snakes. Like there's no in between. Like your relationships with your cousins, like you're either like this or you like this. No in between. So do y'all agree or disagree?
So
with
when
that?
we say snakes,
I'm all in between.
Do we mean like
all?
Yeah. So I guess we use the word term snakes like to refer to people like who did you dirty.
Yeah. No, I do see where like the word snakes is a strong word. There got to be a word in between there, between gang and snakes, or it's just like
Yeah, I'm definitely like in the middle. Like I said, like I think. My cousins, I don't have cousins like around my age, so a lot of my cousins are either way older or way younger. So I've never really been close to my cousins, except for like if I was like 10 years old and I was close to like my 6-year-old cousin, but like that was it.
Same. I'm only close to one cousin, and she's still 40, and we traveled together and stuff. But like we were closer when I was younger, actually. But now that I'm older, we're not even that close anymore. But I mean, the rest of my cousins, of course, we can call each other and you know, chat, but it's not anything in depth or like so. And honestly, it's not a lot of us, so
yeah. No, I think I definitely have. Like, in that situation, they would be family turned friends, which I also think is a big thing, too. Like, I feel like that has a lot of meaning to it. But, like, I do have, like, one group of cousins that I'm, like, super, super close to. Like, we talk probably every day. Like, we have a group chat. So, like, we talk every day. But then I have my other group of cousins where it's just, like, see you when I see you. Like, I'll see you when I go to grandma's house or something. Like, but no, I definitely, I do agree to the extent of, like, it's this or this. I definitely don't feel like there's that in between for me. Like, not necessarily saying you're a snake, but like we either have a very strong bond or we kind of just don't have a bond at all. Like,
I agree.
All right. Well, with that said,
thank y'all for listening.
As always, y'all know where to find us. Everywhere that it streams a podcast and on YouTube. Yeah, it is. Season 4, episode 6 is a wrap. Bye.
See y'all.